Hello, I'm Aquatic and welcome back to another video. Today I want to talk about the updated Aquatic because by now I'm sure most of us have either tried out the snapshot ourselves or seen someone who has. So you've seen all of the key, changelog features. We've seen stuff like stripped logs, we've seen the kelp block, we've even seen stuff like tridents. All of the stuff in the changelog you've seen experienced in some form, but there's lots of stuff that wasn't listed on the changelog that you perhaps haven't seen. And in today's video I figured I'd go over 5 things that you probably missed in the updated Aquatic that are definitely worth knowing about because they're pretty cool in their own little ways. So please do like this video if you do like it because it helps out the channel and lets know you do like floating boats, which aren't going to be one of the 5 features in this one, by the way, but I think they're just fascinating to look at regardless. But yeah, here are 5 features that have changed that you probably didn't spot because they weren't referenced in any way, such as the first one, which is to do with fish. So, you know how there's 4 types of fish in Minecraft? There's the salmon, there's the pufferfish, there's the clownfish, and then there's the type of fish which is just called fish, right? This one right here. Well, in this update, it's no longer just called fish. Instead, it's called cod, and then it's called cooked cod. So there is 2 brand new named items. Again, it's not too significant a change, but essentially, because they're introducing it to the sea, instead of just having a generic fish, which doesn't make really... Again, the reason behind it being called fish in the first place is it used to be the only type of fish until 1.7, but now they finally figured, like, wait, we have 4 types of fish, let's give it a real name, and they decided to go with cod, which honestly, in my opinion, isn't quite the perfect name for it, because again, in real life, cod, if you don't know, is a very yellow fish, and this is distinctly not yellow, to compare it to the ocelot skin, very yellow, ocelot, very not yellow fish, but anyway, we have a brand new type of fish in Minecraft, it's called cod, and it replaces the old fish, and again, I'm not sure if it logically makes sense, but it's something they've done regardless. So that's the first little secret change that wasn't referenced anywhere. They changed the name of cod. The second little secret change that wasn't referenced anywhere is the fact that you can now, swim in 1 block wide water. So obviously swimming in this update is kind of the equivalent of both running on land and I guess kind of like flying in the air, except you can do it in water all the time. So you can actually like swim in any amount of water, even 1 single block of water. You can swim in it if you really want to. So this means that you can now officially in this update drown in 1 block deep water. This has never been possible before in Minecraft unless you had like a thing above your head, so it still had to be like that. But by just having a 1 deep wide water, you can now make a suicide hole as simple as this. And again, I really don't recommend committing suicide in 1 deep water. In fact, pro tip, don't recommend suicide ever. But if you need to do it in Minecraft, you just need to find 1 deep wide water, and then you can do it like this. And again, I mean, it's a little bit brutal, but still kind of interesting, kind of cool. In my opinion, it's one of the weirdest features in this update. The fact that swimming in 1 block wide water barely makes sense that it is, but the fact that you can drown in it is even funnier if you ask me, and that's a thing you can do in this update. So yeah, wouldn't recommend drowning, but if you're gonna do it, I mean, 1 deep water just has to be the way to go, right? Like, again, you can swim down here. Also, as I've shown off in previous videos, you can make like really complex tunnels and stuff, and that is a secret thing in this update. So the next little change, but this is like a bonus one, I guess, is the fact that weather changes so much more. I thought it was just me, but now I can definitely confirm the weather seems to change every 5 to 10 minutes. Like, if you want to see thunderstorms, to use channeling, etc., you get to use it so much more in this update, which is great for that one enchantment, but it sucks if you don't like rain otherwise. So yeah, just keep that in mind. Electrifying, by the way, of that is like super fast. But let's talk about the third little change that you probably missed in this update. It is to do with turtle eggs. So turtle eggs, if you don't know, they stack up together. That's actually 4 turtle eggs in 1 block. And a fun fact about this, actually, it probably would have been handy to keep it raining for this, is the fact that the turtle eggs, if you jump on them, they will squish and die. And the crazy thing about zombies and zombie pigmen and zombie villagers and baby zombies and basically any zombie-based mob is that they really love squishing these zombie eggs. I don't know why they care so much more about them than most other things, but if I'm not around, so we'll go to creative folder. Oh wait, we're gonna have to, okay, the zombie's gonna hit me while he's on fire. But what we're gonna do is we're gonna go into creative and I'm gonna show you how if he doesn't have a target around, then what they'll just do is they'll start killing the baby, the eggs. So let's go into creative and let someone up just over here because he's gonna burn stuff. But if they don't have a target around, they'll just decide, actually, these eggs right here, I really do quite hate them. And that's a very bizarre thing they'll do in this update in particular. Again, if you place them nearby, they just start jumping non-stop. For some reason, he's jumping next to the block, and that still squashes. But that means you can actually set up traps like this, and that means that as long as you set it up correctly, you can actually have zombies die that way. So yeah, as you can see, just by setting it near the zombie now, because this is a brand new snapshot, it seems like it'll kill them that way, which is super weird, but it means that they really hate them, and they have the ability to squish them. Again, any zombie mob and in the game. I guess the fact that he's burning is probably ruining his chances of going in the hole, but still, it's a thing you can do in this update only. So let's talk about the 4th thing that you can only do in this update. Oh, there we go. We finally got it going down. He's jumping on them, and he's going to fall through the floor if you line it up right. Apparently, they've finally learned to like go near the edges, but if you make it deeper in the hole, then that means that they won't be able to. And I don't know, there's a life lesson in that one. So with that said, let's move on to the 4th secret feature in this update only. It is to do with lighting. So when they're updating the water physics, and they've made it so stuff like slabs work underwater. I've shown this stuff before, but just so you can see it, in case you haven't already, you can actually put slabs underwater just like this now. Isn't that wonderful? Wow, look at it. They don't just like have half water around them because they properly work in this update. However, they've also worked on lighting in this update, so they made it you can actually so that you can actually take the light from the top of the water down into it. Because if you don't know, it gets darker the deeper into water you get, unless you bring light with you. So here you can see I've got a glass tower stretching from the surface, where it's very light, down to the bottom, and it actually takes all of the light through the glass, where there's no water by the way, through the glass with it, until you get to here, where you can see the light hits the ground, and it means you can now light up underwater. And if I take this lighting, I can actually like bring this along with me, and you can actually now light up the underseas, if you really want to, by doing stuff like this. I think it's kind of cool, and honestly, you need to be like closer to the depths, I guess, like right down there, to really get an advantage. And also, it seems like the light can only go so far. That's something I just experienced now, but just to prove this is really happening because of the light, and it's not a lighting glitch, if I break it, the light goes away, and if I bring it back, the light comes back, because it can kind of go through blocks, but kind of not really. So we break enough blocks, it's entirely gone. So yeah, there is now an entirely new light physics stuff for going underwater, and although I haven't experimented with this enough to know like properly how to use it to its best advantage, it does mean you can have at least some light go underwater, and you can use stained glass, and there's weird stuff you can do with this, and it's one of the exciting things we're going to see develop as time goes on with this update, because water physics are changing, and with that, light physics underwater are going to change too. But we've seen our very first peak with glass into water. Look at that, you can see the bottom of the ocean from all the way up here, and otherwise if you look around the rest of that, you can see what, a monument and an island otherwise, which is really cool. So with that said, let's move on to the final little secret feature, which is to do with the end here. So we're going to hop into the end. Usually not that great an idea. Oh, we broke something. Okay, so we're in the end right now, and as you can see, we got the normal end dragon stuff. There's nothing amazingly different here. You're not going to see like, oh, it's now the fish dragon instead of the ender dragon. But what you will find here is the fact that if you fire an IF ender, previously you weren't like able to do this, but in this update they've made it so you can in fact fire IF enders in the end. There is no particularly great reason to want to do this, but previously if you tried to do this in a lot of the basically before you wouldn't be able to do this because there'd be no reason to fire IF enders here. But now you can fire IF enders in the end, and that actually point you towards an end city, looks like. Oh yeah, let's follow it, I guess. Yeah, it looks like they point you towards end cities, which is kind of interesting if you do ask me. So that means if we follow this for long enough, which we'll be going through like the void, so probably not too recommendable. But if we follow this for long enough, you're going to see how it eventually leads us to an end city, because now they figured, like, you know, rather than have it just not work in the end, let's just set it towards somewhere else. So, when you get far enough distance away, the night vision kicks in, you can see the whole end anyway. That's also new to this update, I do believe. And yeah, we could follow this all the way to the end city, but you get the point for now. I hope you all enjoyed this video. Here are 5 features you missed in the update Aquatic. I'm obviously going to be checking out the new snapshots, and obviously some of these features could change for the final release. But yeah, it's really cool to be seeing this update slowly come out bit by bit. It obviously means we're closer to the release date now, because it's in this phase, and yeah, I'm super excited about that. Hopefully all of you are too. Like this video if you did like it, share if you really liked it, subscribe if you're around here, and let me know if you want to see more videos like this, as we see more of this stuff come in the future. So for now, hope you all enjoy the video, and I'll see you all. Oh, I'm in literally nowhere now, and I'll see you all in the next one. Goodbye. So a quick little correction here. I was like sure that it was meant to take you to the end cities, but instead the IF enders actually lead to a random point right now. So maybe they're meant to, and in my world they didn't, or maybe in this snapshot they just lead to nowhere, or like the equivalent of where a stronghold would be in the end. But yeah, right now they don't work as intended. They just lead you to a point of death in the middle of nowhere. So yeah, I guess we'll see how that one changes over time. But IF enders at the very least do work in the end. Anyway, goodbye.